What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. There's a new kid on the block for fashionable, affordable watches. What I have here is a watch. It's on loan, and it's not by James Muriel Company. It's by the James and Muriel Watch Company, even though that's not really like an ampersand. It's a hourglass. So I could tell you all about when James met Muriel and it was beautiful. It's kind of like Hewlett and Packard or Sonny and Cher without the bad singing. But the James and Muriel Company is building some really classic looking watches, and I have this one. It's called the Timekeeper, I believe, and hopefully I have that right. And that would make sense. It comes in this little leather pouch like this, and they are going on sale here very, very shortly. And they are going to be up on Kickstarter, and I'll talk to you about the unbelievable value that you get for these. But as you can see, this little loop around here, it kind of reminds me of my TCM back in the day. And so we have this leather pouch, and if we open it up, looks like we get a little welcome package here with their hourglass logo. And what does this say? Ooh, poured years into it. Prince William Teslam. Okay. And jamesandmuriel.com is their website. Oh, some other stuff in here. Microfiber cloth to keep it clean, which I might have to use. And here is the specs on this watch, and you can see a little preview here. So let's stop pussyfooting around and take a look at this. First of all, well, in this pocket over here, we get a NATO style canvas strap with built-in easy to remove spring bars. The little nib right here pulls in that edge of that plunger, and so you can remove these without a tool, which is really nice. You can see the nice hardware on there in James and Muriel. So that's cool. You can dress it up a little bit. We might do that. Let's do that. I don't want to shortcut anything here, and I'm going to move all this out of the way. And then we have the watch itself. Now, looks like we've got some plastic on it. Take a look at that, man. That is gorgeous, gorgeous. I really like this watch, and it's a fairly simple watch, but it's got just classic good looks. And I was checking this out online before I got mine. There are some videos on it. You can check them out. OFD channel has a video, and some of the other YouTube channels. But we have a beautiful leather strap here, and it's pretty thin, but it's padded and side stitched black. The James Muriel logo on a polished buckle right there. 41 millimeter case, so it's not huge, but I think it's a really good size, perfect size. You can see wire style lugs that kind of just straight angle out of the case. Simple case, very cylindrical, polished, stainless steel. We do have a sapphire crystal, I believe, up here, which is flat. We also have a beautiful blue face. I can't remember if they call it midnight blue, but it actually has a little bit more navy to it than the pictures I was seeing online, which almost kind of made it look black. So if you're gonna pick this one up, kind of just imagine that the blue is a little bit more striking and a little bit more distinct in person than it was on the press photos. And it's got this beautiful orange, which is what I really love. I don't know why I've been into orange for these few years here, but I really like it because it's not something you see a lot. I love the sub-dial there. Let's see if I can get in on that. The sub-dial there in orange with the single seconds hand. You can see very thin needle-like hands. Beautiful white, even the new Arabic numerals there in white, and even a little bit of accent here on the 5-minute markers in orange as well. And everything about this dial is just flat. The sub dial there is kind of stamped in, pressed into the dial there. James and Muriel at the top. It's just a really nice looking, simple watch. It really harkens back to, I'd call it like the 80s. You could probably even go way back on watches where they were just simple and they were meant to be more classic, typical watches. I'd say in the 90s, in the 2000s, watches got really big, they got really chunky, they were more about bling, they were about cramming in stuff onto the face on the dial to put in more complications. This one is just a really, really classic dress watch, and it's going to be really easy to wear with everything because it's so thin. Now, it does have a Swiss Ronda quartz movement, Timekeeper right there, water resistant 50. You can see the screws on the back here to lift off that back if you want to service it. Oops, didn't get rid of this under the crown, and I do want to show you that crown. You can see the 2 knurled edges on it, and then the James Muriel hourglass logo in what looks to be like a matching blue there, which is pretty cool. That is gorgeous. And now let's go ahead and throw this on the wrist, because I have a pretty big wrist, 7 inches. I do like wearing chunkier watches because it helps kind of fill out my wrist. But look at this, man. I mean, this is a 41 millimeter, and I think it looks perfect on my wrist. That's awesome, man. Man, that's a good looking watch. And I want to take a look here, because if we flip this over, this leather band also has the quick release. So let's go ahead and do this in real time here. You just pull these little pins in, and that pulls the spring bar plunger in, and now I can pivot it out just like that. So let's take this band. Let's see how fast we can do this. Kind of a matching, a blue and an orange, which just looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one. This is the top one, and make sure it's flipped up the right way. And now all you do is you kind of put in this bottom pin on the spring bar, pull this down, and that's going to retract that pin. You slide it in and release it, and just give it a wiggle, make sure it's in there correctly, because these things are great because now you can just change up the look of your watch band almost in an instant, right? And so it's kind of nice because in a lot of times they were hard to get. You had to have that tool, and a lot of guys would get an additional watch and put the bands they want on it. So it's just that easy to put on another band on that, and that looks tremendous. Gives the watch a sporty look, right? So all of a sudden we went from a dressy watch to the sporty looking watch. The color match is really awesome. I love that. It's kind of like a racing stripe. You can see we have a very thick, nylon strap here. This is much thicker than the NATO straps, which tend to be pretty thin. This is much more rigid. You can see how it's doubled over there, kind of glued together. It just has a racy look, man. I mean, if you are into sports cars, this would be a great watch to have. I'll throw this on. Again, 41 millimeter watch on my chunky wrist. I think that's a perfect looking size. So, man, dude, it doesn't surprise me how much a watch band will change the look of a watch, because I used to do that all the time. In fact, there were watches I got that I hated the original strap on it. I bought a second strap to give it the overall look that I wanted. And I've really been just happy that you can do that. And some watch companies don't allow you to remove the straps because they use a proprietary, lug design or something like that. But, to have these quick release spring bars here, I think is fantastic. In fact, I would rather go with this band than the other band, because I just like the casual bright colors of this. And that's kind of a look I'm going for. Listen, I'm telling you that this watch is pretty nice. It's nice and small, slim, it's easy to wear. You can kind of dress it up either way. And because a lot of guys would get watches, multiple watches to get multiple bands so they don't have to swap them in and out, because it's not that easy. This is really, really simple. So you can kind of change the look up really easily. Now, the best thing about this, I think, is the value proposition here, because this watch with the Swiss quartz movement, nice solid construction, beautiful, timeless, classic design, is only going for about 170 bucks. So if you go to the Kickstarter link or their crowdfunding link there, you can book one of these, and it's really cheap. I think it's a great value for the money, and you'll have something that no one else is going to have. It's a brand that you're not going to see everywhere, and yet you're going to get a lot for the money. So, hey, I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to pick this up, because I'm really happy with it. I'm going to strap it on and wear it today. Peter Von Panda, out.